They don't put in extra work. They don't go above and beyond to hone their skills, improve their game. This is a club. This is a get-together. This is a player meet and greet. This is a hangout, and the WNBA is just where they choose to hang out. And the NBA and the owners within the league, they're funding this hangout.
The WNBA is in full-blown panic mode, and it's got nothing to do with ratings or attendance. This time, the real threat is an even bigger league waving a massive paycheck in front of their crown jewel, Caitlin Clark.
Can you feel the panic reverberating throughout the WNBA dump? WNBA players think they have leverage. Keyword, think. Now, in their defense, they do have leverage in the short term.
After months of hearing their stars lament poverty-level pay despite bringing in record revenue, the league now faces its worst nightmare, a rival that's ready to pay women's basketball players what they're truly worth.
Now, I don't know what to believe from financials, but they got a lot of money backing them from TNT Sports and a lot of investors. And word has it that they came within $10 million of breaking even their first season. That's damn sight a lot. That's damn sight a lot better than the WNBA's done ever.
Let's be clear about what's unfolding here. Unrivaled, the 3-on-3 startup league that's been making waves since January has just finished its inaugural season, and the numbers are nothing short of staggering.
Unrivaled will forever change the WNBA.
For sure.
And the way that they do business, the way that they treat their players, any agreement going forward. Unrivaled did things that were unprecedented. And I think it showed players their value, and players in that upcoming CBA are going to ask for everything. And I think that they're going to have to make something work if they want to see the product on TV, right?
Players in Unrivaled are pulling in an average of $220,000 for just 8 weeks of basketball, nearly triple what the average WNBA player earns over an entire season. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, the superstar who single-handedly reignited national interest in women's basketball, is taking home a paltry $78,666 in her second year with the Indiana Fever. The pay gap is so outrageous, it's almost criminal.
Essentially stalled for a new collective bargaining agreement in the WNBA. For the first time ever, WNBA players think they have leverage. Keyword, think. Now, in their defense, they do have leverage in the short term. The problem is, if this short-term leverage is used and the 2026 WNBA season is canceled, it could have devastating long-term impacts on pretend basketball.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Unrivaled isn't just tossing money around for show. They know exactly what they're doing. League President Alex Bazell has already confirmed that salaries will climb even higher in 2026 after their debut season shattered every financial projection. In year one alone, they pulled in over $27 million in revenue, coming close to breaking even while most startup leagues bleed cash. Now, they're gearing up for round two with their sights locked on the one player who could turn them from a promising experiment into a full-blown threat to the WNBA's monopoly.
I'm wondering, will the WNBA get within $10 million this season? I kind of doubt it, considering Caitlin Clark's missed, 13, 14 games or something like that? We saw ticket prices plummeted. We know the ratings have gone down in games that she's not involved with, which has drove the ratings down across the league. So I don't know.
Enjoying this, make sure to subscribe. The desperation from WNBA players has never been more blatant. At the 2025 All-Star Game in Indianapolis, every single player took the court in black shirts reading, "Pay us what you owe us." Over 40 players then packed into a tense meeting with league officials, the largest turnout in WNBA history, before voting to opt out of their current collective bargaining agreement. Now, they're pushing for $45 million salary caps per team and individual deals worth up to $1 million. The kicker? They're making these demands to a league that just posted a $40 million loss in its most successful year ever.
In the All-Star Game, wearing "Pay us what you owe us" t-shirts, WNBA players whose salaries are subsidized by the NBA wear t-shirts declaring, "Pay us what you owe us." They must have thought this was a great idea. Oh, folks, we're really going to stick it to the owners. We are really going to stick it to the league. We're going to walk out in solidarity with a t-shirt that says, "Pay us what you owe us," and then they'll have no choice but to pay us what they owe us. Now, my question is, what exactly?
The timing couldn't be better for Unrivaled to make its move. While WNBA players are begging for scraps from a league bleeding money, Unrivaled is proving women's basketball can be both profitable and lucrative for the athletes who make it happen. The contrast is downright embarrassing. Angel Reese pocketed $50,000 just for winning the Unrivaled championship, more than two-thirds of her entire WNBA rookie contract. Paige Buchers is set to earn roughly $350,000 in her first year with Unrivaled, for just a 10-week commitment. That's more than her entire 4-year WNBA rookie deal, where she's only projected to make $78,000 annually. And yes, there are still skeptics, people mad that these women chose to bet on themselves and join a startup that's already leaving the WNBA in the dust. They ask, how are they paying for it? Well, here's how. Unrivaled pulled in over $1 million in ticket sales this year, another $1 million plus in merchandise sales, and that's not even counting jersey sales. Now imagine this. Caitlin Clark signs with Unrivaled for the 2026 season. Suddenly, they've got the most marketable player in women's basketball, a proven moneymaker who can pack arenas and crash streaming platforms. And what if they don't stop there? What if Unrivaled evolves from 3-on-3 to full 5-on-5 play? League executives have already hinted at the possibility, even floating moves to larger arenas. And they're not stopping there. Format changes are already on the table for future seasons. Picture this, Unrivaled 2027. Now a full 5-on-5 league stacked with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Paige Buchers, and every other major star sick of being underpaid by the WNBA. They're playing in NBA arenas, airing on TNT, and earning salaries that finally match the value they bring to the sport. Meanwhile, the WNBA is left with whoever couldn't land a better offer, playing in half-empty arenas while their former stars sell out Madison Square Garden just 20 miles away. Alex Bazell, co-founder of the 3-on-3 Women's Basketball League made up entirely of WNBA talent, told Front Office Sports they've already signed nearly 90% of their player pool for the 2026 season. "We have a few spots left to fill, and then we're pretty much ready to go," he said. The WNBA's response? Pure delusion. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert keeps preaching transformational change and hypergrowth, while clinging to the same revenue-sharing model that's kept players in poverty for nearly 3 decades. The message is essentially, we know you're worth more, but we're going to keep paying you less, because reasons. It's like trying to put out a house fire with a garden hose while the fire department waits outside with the proper equipment. And here's the most infuriating part. The WNBA had every chance to treat Caitlin Clark like the franchise-saving superstar she is. Instead, they stood by while their own players turned her into a punching bag. They let veterans cheap-shot her, trash her popularity, and even force her to apologize for bringing unprecedented attention to their league. It's arguably the most backwards business strategy in sports history, sabotaging your most valuable asset while your competition gets ready to make her their centerpiece, their own biggest draw, all because they're jealous of her success. I've been saying this for a while now. The league does not like Unrivaled. And honestly, no business would be thrilled to have one of its own workers go start a rival operation that's faster, better, and more appealing. So it baffles me when people act like, oh, the WNBA loves Unrivaled. No, they don't. Meanwhile, Unrivaled is rolling out the red carpet for every athlete who joins them. Luxury apartments, personal chefs, child care services, world-class recovery facilities, and even a Sephora-sponsored glam room. They understand that treating athletes like professionals goes beyond writing a paycheck. It's about creating an environment where players can thrive both on and off the court. The WNBA's version of player care? Telling athletes to be thankful for charter flights they only got after decades of complaints. Financially, the contrast is damning. Despite all their talk about growth and popularity, the WNBA is still bleeding money year after year. For 28 straight seasons, the NBA has subsidized them to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. And now, the players are demanding 50% revenue sharing, in a league where they only own 42% of the league itself. Let's not forget, they sold majority control just to keep the lights on. Compare that to Unrivaled's model, raising over $35 million from serious investors and locking in a $100 million media rights deal with TNT. Landed major sponsorships from Samsung, Ally Financial, and Miller Lite, and still managed to pay players more than any women's pro sports league in history. They're not begging the NBA for handouts or making excuses about why they can't pay market value. They're proving women's basketball can thrive as a standalone business. Unrivaled is showing exactly why players want to be there. They treat athletes right, give them the resources they need, and promote them the way they should be promoted. That's what women's basketball deserves. That's what women deserve, period. Some people ask, well, why can Unrivaled do it and the WNBA can't? The truth is, the WNBA can, but can, will, and choose to are three very different things. Right now, desperation in WNBA front offices must be off the charts. They're watching their best players openly flirt with a competitor offering better pay, better treatment, and better opportunities. Satu Sabali just announced she's played her last game in Dallas and is looking for a new home, conveniently right after spending time with former Oregon teammate Sabrina Ionescu in Unrivaled. The dots aren't hard to connect. And here's the part that should truly terrify the WNBA. Unrivaled isn't even at full strength yet. They still don't have Caitlin Clark, Aya Wilson, or several other megastars who could transform the league overnight. They're already thriving without the biggest names in the game. Imagine what happens when they sign players who can instantly double TV ratings and triple merchandise sales. The clock is ticking on the WNBA's collective bargaining agreement. They've got until October to reach a deal with players, or risk the first work stoppage in league history. And this time, they're not just negotiating against their own roster. They're competing with a league that's already proven it can deliver everything the WNBA won't. What the WNBA insists is impossible, paying women's basketball players like the professionals they are. Unrivaled is making moves, and not just small ones, big, game-changing moves. They're locking in the young, rising talent that fans actually want to see, while the WNBA scrambles to figure out a response. Players are already hinting they're willing to strike, rallying behind the same message, pay us what you owe us. And here's the most telling part, even WNBA legends are starting to question the league's approach. When players wore those pay us what you owe us shirts during the All-Star game, the crowd didn't just notice, they chanted it back, pay them.